When you think of ace pitchers from the early 2000s, who comes to mind? Randy Johnson and Curt Schilling, Pedro Martinez out in Boston. Maybe you're a Midwestern kid like me and spent hours trying to throw a changeup as good as Johan Santana of the Twins. Or maybe you're too young to remember any of them. Either way, there were some amazing aces from 2000 to 2009 that continue to dominate in our memories to this day. But those usual suspects, they get all the attention. What about the other guys? The pitchers who also lit up the mound during that time, maybe even just for a year or two, only to fade off into oblivion.
Where do you go from here, Mike? I don't know, man. I might just fade into oblivion.
For example, did you know that over the course of just 2 seasons, the 2003 and 2004 seasons, Livan Hernandez of the Expos carried an ERA of 3.41 over the course of 488 and a third innings pitched? Almost 500 innings in just 2 seasons?
Just like the good old days.
But it's not just him either. There were so many pitchers from the start of the 21st century who left their mark on this game only to be lost to the pages of Baseball Reference. Until today, that is.
Buckle up.
Baseball fans, today we are going to knock the dust off of 5 forgotten pitching legends from the 2000s while also explaining why they have been forgotten by the masses with part 1 of this new series. First up, we're heading to San Francisco, and not to talk about Tim Lincecum or Matt Cain. Welcome to Good Vibes Baseball. Please be sure to subscribe and hit that thumbs up button. Helps me out a ton, and I do appreciate each and every one of you legends. Now let's get into the good vibes, shall we? The Giants are no strangers to ace starting pitchers. Tim Lincecum and Matt Cain are 2 of my favorite pitchers of all time, and I'm a Rockies fan. But before Lincecum and Cain, there was only Schmidt.
Schmidt happens.
Jason Schmidt, to be precise. But you know what? He was not just the ace of the Giants in the early 2000s, but in 2003 and 2004, he was arguably the best pitcher in all of baseball. Over those 2 seasons, he went 35-12 while leading the league with a 2.79 ERA, a 2.79 FIP, and 459 strikeouts. He also posted a whip just over 1,000 with an ERA plus of 154 in those 2 seasons. Only Russ Ortiz had more wins with 36, and only Johan Santana posted a better whip and ERA plus over the course of those 2 seasons combined. And for the B-War lovers out there, only Curt Schilling and Pedro Martinez posted better B-Wars for starting pitchers in 2003 and 2004 combined. And it's not like Schmidt did all of his damage in one season while stinking it up the other. Not at all. He was the model of consistency, posting nearly identical B-Wars of 6.7 in 2003 and 6.8 in 2004. He won 17 games in 2003, 18 in 2004. Yes, 2003 was the better overall season with an ERA almost a full run lower, his National League leading ERA plus of 180, and a league leading whip of just over 950, even receiving 7 MVP votes in the 2003 MVP race to go with his second place Cy Young finish. But 2004 was very much just more of the same with those aforementioned 18 wins, a sub-3 FIP, and a 4th place Cy Young finish. Unfortunately for Schmidt though, these 2 years were his best as a pro, and they came in his age 30 and 31 seasons after spending 5 years with the Pirates. Time, it just wasn't on his side. But for 2 seasons in the early 2000s, Jason Schmidt wasn't just an ace, he might have been the ace in all of baseball.
Great job, Schmidt.
But if consistency is more of your thing, you're going to love this next forgotten ace. Not sure if you've heard, but the Los Angeles Angels are cursed. Be sure to check out my video on the subject. But long story short, the Angels supposedly built their stadium on an ancient Native American burial ground. But in 2002, the year they won the World Series, the tribe whose burial site was allegedly covered up blessed the team prior to the season. Coincidence? I'll let you decide. But on the field in 2002, pitching-wise, if you remember anything about the 2002 Angels, if it's not the Rally Monkey,
I hate that monkey.
You probably remember the likes of K-Rod and Troy Percival closing things out. And rightfully so. But what about old Reliable himself? Jared Washburn. The crafty lefty from Wisconsin may not be your prototypical ace pitcher stuff-wise, but he led that Angels pitching staff with one heck of a 2002 season. Yet, nobody really talks about it. He went 18-6 with a 3.15 ERA on his way to not just a World Series title, but a 4th place Cy Young finish that year. Unfortunately though, 2002 was the best season of his career, and it came at age 27. By the numbers, Jared Washburn would never pitch that well for a full season ever again. He was one of the more consistent pitchers in all of baseball through the 2000s, however, starting in at least 25 games a season and never posting an ERA over 4.69 in that time, split between the Angels, Mariners, and finally the Tigers. Jared Washburn wasn't your traditional ace, but an ace of consistency in the early 2000s, and without him, the Angels probably wouldn't have even made it to the 2002 World Series. But Washburn never did dominate for an extended period of time. The next forgotten ace of the 2000s absolutely did. The Chicago Cubs completed season number 150 in 2025, according to Baseball Reference. And by the numbers, Carlos Zambrano is a top 10 pitcher in Cubs history. El Toro in his 37.7 B-WAR ranked 9th most in team history in that category. Over the course of his 11 years with the Cubs, he started the 8th most games in team history with 282, and he has the 2nd most strikeouts in team history with 1,542. Yet, it's always Kerry Wood or Mark Pryor that gets the attention from the early 2000s.
Not that there's anything wrong with that!
But Carlos Zambrano, he was a stud. Did you realize that he was once signed to the richest contract by a pitcher in Cubs team history? From 2003 through 2006, he was arguably the best pitcher in all of baseball. He went 59-32 with a 3.14 ERA while striking out 768 hitters and posting a 142 ERA+. Only Johan Santana, Roger Clemens, and Roy Halladay had better ERA pluses than Zambrano over those 4 seasons. The issue for Zambrano was that he was always second fiddle to someone else, though. His early time in Chicago saw the return of Greg Maddux, along with the likes of the aforementioned Kerry Wood and Mark Pryor. In 2007, as the actual ace of the Cubs, Zambrano won 18 games with an ERA under 4 and his second of 3 fifth-place Cy Young finishes. Oh, and he could rake! Back when pitchers actually had to hit in the National League, Carlos Zambrano was someone pitchers didn't love to face. He hit 24 home runs in his career, including a whopping 6 home runs back in 2006. Carlos Zambrano was a unit. He was even a part of one of the most unique games in MLB history when he threw a no-hitter versus the Astros at the Brewers, then home of Miller Park, due to Hurricane Ike impacting Texas at the time. But the Cubs couldn't break the curse while he was there, and then proceeded to win the World Series in 2016. Zambrano's era? Easy to skip right past. No fault of his own though, he absolutely lived up to his potential, unlike this next forgotten ace. Johan Santana in his prime was something to behold. In 2006, he went 19-6 with a 2.77 ERA, a 3.04 FIP, 254 strikeouts, a WHIP just under 1,000, and an ERA plus of 162. All of which led the entire league that year. He was absolutely dominant, but did you realize that Johan Santana was arguably not the best pitcher on that Twins staff in 2006?
You shut your mouth!
Francisco Liriano, the 22-year-old prospect and Johan Santana clone, went 12-3 with an ERA of 2.19 and 142 strikeouts through his first 119 innings pitched that year. He won the AL Player of the Month award for both June and July, and was even named an All-Star replacement by manager Ozzie Guillen. The Twins looked to have the best 1-2 pitching punch in baseball with Santana and now Liriano. Until they didn't. Liriano would pitch only 2 more innings. Yes, innings. In 2006, before ultimately having to have Tommy John surgery that offseason, missing the entire 2007 season, and never returning to that ace form. Liriano would come back and have some success, first with the Twins in 2010, and then again with the Pirates from 2013 through 2015, but nothing close to that amazing 2006 rookie season. Oh, what could have been. But speaking of untapped potential, let's close this puppy out with one pitcher who was supposed to be the next in a long line of ace Atlanta Brave pitchers. And actually was, for a season or two. Tommy Hanson was special.
Hey Braves fans, it's Tommy Hanson. Can't wait to see you out in the Braves caravan this year.
Even if it was just for a couple of seasons. Unfortunately, he and Francisco Liriano share similar professional journeys. Both pitchers are more of a what could have been type story rather than a true ace's journey. Both Francisco Liriano and Tommy Hanson were top prospects. At their best, they were both brilliant and both deserve to be remembered. They also each had their best seasons in their rookie years. After releasing future Hall of Famer Tom Glavine in June of 2009, Tommy Hanson was called up by the Braves. He struck out the great Prince Fielder for his first ever strikeout, and then proceeded to give up a couple of dingers to Ryan Braun on his way to the no decision and career start number 1. Things would only get better from there. In 2009, Tommy Hanson went 11-4 with a 2.89 ERA and a 143 ERA plus as he finished 3rd in National League Rookie of the Year voting and looked poised to add his name amongst the other Atlanta greats. I'll admit, I was convinced that he was going to be great for years to come. Unfortunately though, that's not what happened. Hanson was solid in 2010, going 10-11 with a 3.33 ERA and 3.31 FIP, then followed that up with another 11 wins and a sub-4 ERA in 2011, but also threw just 130 innings in 2011 due to injury. The 2012 season would end up being his worst as an Atlanta Brave, and would end up being his last season with the team after going 13-10 with a 4.48 ERA over the course of his 31 starts that year. He was traded to the Angels that offseason, where he pitched even worse, resulting in him not even being tendered a contract by the team after the 2013 season. And that was that. Tommy Hanson would never pitch in a major league game again. Sadly though, unlike Liriano, Tommy Hanson never got the opportunity to make a late career comeback. After spending the 2014 and 2015 seasons in the minors with the Rangers, White Sox, and then Giants, Hanson was found unresponsive at an acquaintance's home on November 8, 2015. He was pronounced dead the next day. You can look it up if you want the details. RIP though to a Braves legend. For 2 electric seasons, you pitched like an ace, and just like the other 4 pitchers we've talked about, you'll never be forgotten. That's gonna do it for today, baseball fans. Thanks so much for watching. Do you have an ace from the early 2000s that's forgotten and would like to be discussed? Let me know down below. Please be sure to hit that thumbs up if you've enjoyed yourself, and please be sure to subscribe if you haven't. Helps me out a ton, and I do appreciate each and every one of you legends. But until next time, baseball fans, cheers!